In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can make a six-figure income as a therapist in private practice. But this is not just for therapists. What I'm going to walk you through applies just as well if you're a physio, an RMT, a chiropractor, an OT, or any other allied health professional running your own practice. So why am I aiming for $100,000 in this video? There's two reasons. Number one, because $100,000 is an above average income in Canada. And secondly, because it's a nice, clean, round number, and I like round numbers. Now, if you don't live in Canada, that's totally fine. The process I'm going to show you works anywhere. You'll just need to plug in your own local numbers. To make it easier for you, I create a spreadsheet on Google Drive that you can copy and use with your own numbers. The link is in the description below. It's absolutely free and there's no strings attached, so go ahead, pause the video, and then open it up, and then come back so you can follow along. Hi there, if this is your first time on the channel, welcome. My name is Ashley Phillips. I'm an EMDR therapist and the founder of the Kelowna EMDR Clinic. On this channel, I cover all topics related to trauma, EMDR therapy, and my experience in private practice. If any of these topics are of interest to you, I would encourage you to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on future videos. Okay, so let's go back to making six figures. The most fundamental concept you need to understand is this. Your income is simply the difference between what you bring in and what it costs you to run your practice. Revenue minus expenses. That's it. So let's start with the fun part, the revenue. To estimate your revenue, you need to figure out three numbers. The first is, how many weeks are you actually going to work in a year? Yes, there are 52 weeks in a year, but I'm pretty sure you'll want to take vacation, you'll get sick at some point, you'll want to take days off here and there for statutory holidays, long weekends, and professional development days. In reality, 48 working weeks a year is probably the upper limit, and personally, I think 46 to 47 weeks a year is realistic, especially if you plan on taking multiple days for professional development. I like also conservative estimates, so I'm gonna use 46 weeks a year, which is 6 weeks off. The second number to figure out is how many clinical hours you will bill for in a week. Yes, a standard work week is 40 hours, but it's incredibly unlikely you will consistently bill for 40 clinical hours a week because that would mean seeing 8 clients a day, 5 days a week. You need time to prep for your sessions, you need time to chart, you need time to study and get consultations, you need to respond to phone calls and emails, you need to eat lunch, and you'll need to create or find resources for clients. Oh, and you will have cancellations. And if you're going to do your own marketing and all your admin, you'll need to make room for that too. As a therapist working full-time and outsourcing your admin, I think 20 to 24 clinical hours a week is a healthy upper range. In my opinion, going much beyond that may be the expressway for burnout. For reference, I typically bill for 18 to 20 clinical hours per week, so we're gonna use 19 hours in our example. The third number to figure out is your billable rate, and most therapists in my area charge between $150 to $180 for a 50-minute session. So I'm going to use 160 in this example. Now we multiply hourly rate times billable hours per week times working weeks per year, and that gives us our annual revenue. Now let's look at the less exciting but equally important side of the equation, expenses. If you're already in private practice, use your actual numbers. And if you're thinking about going into private practice, do your best to come up with accurate estimates. You'll actually have to do some research here and look up what the cost will be instead of just guessing. Broadly speaking, I break expenses down into 7 categories, and we're gonna go through each of them. The first category is for office-related expenses. This includes things like office rent, utilities, internet, and phone. In my example, I'll use $1,000 a month for rent, which includes the internet and utilities, and $50 a month for the phone. These numbers are going to vary by location, but they are reasonable in my area. I also want you to think about wear and tear because that's a very real cost, even though it doesn't show up every single month. If your furniture and your equipment cost $2,500 and you replace them every 5 years, That's $500 a year. If you buy a $1,200 laptop every 4 years, that's $300 per year. So let's budget $800 annually for equipment replacement. The next category of expenses are financial expenses. This is things like your business banking, credit card processing fees, and insurance premiums. My business banking package costs me $12 a month, and about 75% of my clients pay with credit card, and my payment processor charges 2.75% on each of the transactions. The spreadsheet will calculate the total cost for you, which in my case turns out to $2,884 a year. Now, you could have everyone send you an e-transfer to save you that transaction fee, but you have to be really on top of it. Otherwise, you're going to spend a lot of time trying to find the money and then chasing the payments. I also spend about $400 annually through my association for my insurance. Third category of expenses to consider is the cost of running your private practice. This covers admin, software, and various subscriptions. I use JNAP for appointment management, and it costs me $80 a month. Google Workspace and a couple of other marketing tools cost me around $35 a month. Now let's talk about admin. This is a big one. In my experience, it takes about 20 minutes of admin for every clinical hour that I bill for, and that's on top of client prep and charting. Admin time includes things like talking to prospective clients, email follow-ups, rescheduling appointments, handling cancellations, chasing unpaid bills, submitting claims to insurance companies, research, creating resources, and a number of other things that consume your time that you just can't bill for. Yes, you can do this all yourself, but you need to account for it by reducing how many billable hours you can realistically work. I've been outsourcing my admin for years, and I find it absolutely indispensable. And it also makes a lot of business sense. Here's why. If I charge $160 per hour, I'm better off seeing clients than doing the tasks I can pay someone else to do for $45 an hour. If we go with 20 minutes of admin for every hour billed and $45 an hour, we can see that admin support will cost me about $1,100 per month. Wow, that sounds expensive. If I did it myself, I would need to work an extra 24 hours per month doing admin. And personally, I would much rather take Friday afternoon off. Thank you very much. I have seen many therapists with a scarcity mindset doing the admin work because they cannot imagine paying out for something that they could do. Yes, of course you can. But it's not about that you can't do it. It's that you'll actually save time and make money by outsourcing it. Do you see why it may make sense to hire admin support? If you disagree, tell me why in the comments below. I'm curious. The next category of expenses are professional fees. This includes things like bookkeeping, accounting, association dues, and legal fees. Bookkeeping costs me $80 a month, and if you run your private practice as an unincorporated sole proprietor, which is what most people do, a tax return shouldn't cost you more than $500. If you pay annual dues to your professional association, include them as well in here. It's also wise to budget in legal fees in case you want a lawyer to look over a contract that you're about to sign or help you with your professional will. $250 is not a lot for legal expenses, but hopefully legal advice is something that you will not need frequently so that over these several years, it kind of averages out. By the way, do you know that having a professional will is something that we as therapists are ethically required to have? I have a video on this topic that I encourage you to check out. I will put a link in the description below. The fifth category of expenses is marketing. How much will it cost you to have a website? Will you pay for a directory listing like Psychology Today? Will you spend money on Google AdWords or Facebook marketing? Will you do your own marketing or will you hire someone to help you? What you spend your money on here will depend on your strengths, your interests, and your available time, and if you'll actually do it. My website costs me about $15 a month, and my Psychology Today profile costs me $30 a month. When I was in private practice by myself, I spent about $300 on online marketing, which I managed myself. You might spend more, you might spend less, just be realistic. The next category of expenses is professional development, and you'll want to invest in yourself to become a better therapist. And it's generally required by associations and colleges. Estimate how much you plan to spend on courses and your professional growth. I'm going to budget $1,200 for PD. Some years I'll spend more, some years I'll spend less, but it's a fair estimate. For our final expense category here, we have other and miscellaneous expenses. This is a catch-all category for surprises and anything we missed, and I'll use $100 a month here. Now we add up all these expenses. If you're using the spreadsheet, it will do it for you. In my example, we can see that it costs us just shy of $40,000 a year to run our private practice. The last step is quite simple: revenue minus expenses. The good news is we have reached our six-figure income target. I feel it's important to point out that this is your pre-tax income. So you'll need to set aside money for your taxes, but structurally, that's it. Six figures in private practice, it's not magic, it's math. Like I said, this is applicable to all of you in private practice, not just therapists. Depending on where you are, your numbers may vary, but the approach is the exact same. If you watch this video without following up with your numbers, that's totally fine. Just a reminder that the link to the spreadsheet is in the description, where you can get your own copy absolutely free. I hope you found this video useful, and that if you're considering private practice, that'll help you make a more informed decision. Give it a like to make it easier for others to find this information. Until next time.